Hey guys, Vampire is back with another video. And today I kind of wanted to talk about living in a fantasy versus living in reality. Because I don't know how it is for you guys. Because I think, for me, I think living in a fantasy is what makes me the most happy. So I feel like I'm mostly living in my own fantasy, guys, and the reality is just where I live. But in my mind, I created this little bit of fantasy, and I think that's also how people get depressed, is that they are too much living in reality and seeing things how they really are. And this can get really mundane, guys. And also, like the sense of progress. I feel like first, I think first of all, people also have a problem with really living in the moment. So that's also a kind of thing. Like, time is really weird. And what most of people, if they really live in a moment, so they don't think about what happened in their past, or they don't think about what's going to happen in their future, they can be pretty relaxed and meditative, and being this meditative super state where they really feel in peace. Yeah, so that's another thing. But the topic I wanted to talk about today is really that, okay, creating a fantasy in where you're like, it's almost like a future fantasy, but you kind of hold this future fantasy as if you're already in the future. Like, for example, for me with my fitness journey, I really see myself as a ripped, muscular person, and even more, I'm a little bit strong, but I just see myself as a greater version that I am already, because I know this is what makes me happy. And I think also a lot of the times what I heard from one guy from YouTube, his name is Nero Knowledge. He also said, what a thinker thinks, the prover proves. So if you, for example, you think, oh, I can't focus, I have really problems with focus, and then what you'll notice is that, for example, when you read a book and then suddenly you can't focus, because that's how you are trained to think. So I think that's also how this affirmations got popular. Like, I think a lot of the times people here in the society, they think really negatively about others, but they also think really negatively about themselves. And a lot of people also call this the bitch voice. That's the people have like a bitch voice inside their head who keep talking them down. So just keep on negatively talk to themselves, like, I can't do it, I will never be great, and all these kind of things. Like, I don't amount to nothing, something like this, guys. Or I will never find a job, something like that. These kind of things, they sometimes this bitch voice, it just ruminates in your head, guys. So I think that's I heard also something like that. That's also the thing you have to kind of fight on a daily basis, guys. That you have to, even if that's your reality right now, because I think a lot of the times the reality, what this Nero Knowledge guy also said, is that reality is first created from heaven before it created on earth. And I think that's also like a quote in the Bible. So I don't know too much about this, but sometimes he's also funny. He just guesses some things for the Bible and mix that with reality. But I think there's a lot of sense in it, guys, because the first because if you don't consciously change and create this kind of positive fantasy about yourself, because I also heard a long time ago, a few years ago, I was really fan of Conor McGregor. Oh my god, I really love this Irish guy, and he just dominated everything, and especially, when he was young, when he was not successful. He also read some books, and then you saw him talking on camera, and just watch me, I'm going to be the UFC champion, and he didn't have any success at that time at all, maybe some amateur success, but of course, maybe also everybody who win this championship previously had this kind of blown up ego. I also know this from from a guy. He is actually also my friend. He's called Reinier de Ridder. I trained with him jiu-jitsu before, and now he's the only Dutch guy in UFC. And he also is the ONE FC double champion. But I know this guy also. Even when he wasn't that popular, he had this kind of fantasy of kind of blown up ego that at least he has it in him to become the world champion. And it's kind of funny. And I also feel like, you don't even need to become the world champion, but you need this kind of fantasy that you have it in you to become the world champion. It's like, I'm also trying to live a little bit more in my fantasy world, and try to create, like a great type of fantasy that will help me in real life, guys, because I feel like this also helps you to get through it, guys. For example, if you have this fantasy to become this amazing trumpet player and play for thousands of people, and they all start crying when you start to play, and angels coming down from the heaven, and everybody wants you. It's like this. Sometimes I have these like crazy like fantasies, and I also have sometimes I also have this weird dreams. Like they also like fantasy like dreams, and they're like the most wonderful. Like this is the most wonderful experience I've ever had, and I also hear things that that's like even more beautiful than the most professional trumpet player you ever heard, and it's within your own dream. So at least I have the imagination within my mind to be the best trumpet player who ever was, guys. So I think that's also like that's also how Ash Ketchum started the Pokemon adventure. I think that's also kind of like I think that's how not only every kid needs to think, but I think grown-up people also, because I think at that point you kind of really get interested in the process, because even even if you stay like you see yourself improve a little bit, and you keep this dream alive, you get motivated to do the things, guys. So of course you cannot live in your fantasy world and just don't take any action to get better. But if you combine this fantasy world with action in the real world, it's like yeah, it's like a super boost, guys, because you can become extra motivated to do these things. And yeah, I'm just a lot of the times I'm looking for these things, guys, which can keep me motivated. Because I know sometimes motivation gets so low. Because yesterday I also had a moment like, okay, I'm starting to play my trumpet. I think yesterday I just played half a song or something like that, and then I just stopped because I was like, okay, I keep my daily streak because I really promised myself to do this. But then, of course, if you play only half a song, this is not this is not gonna do much. So yeah, when I started off, I play at least like half an hour or something. I think that's much better. And I think yeah, when you create this kind of fantasies that you're going to be the best there ever was, and everybody's gonna love you, and you become, you have this aura, you know, you have this, become almost superhuman, you know, you have to really have this amazing fantasy that you're gonna impact the world that no one ever seen before, guys. So I have this, yeah, sometimes I have just these fantasies, and also I feel like, yeah, I think, do you remember as a kid when you just have this book, and all the toys that are available in the country are in this book. And I think that was actually the best present I've ever got, because I think as a kid I just started to fantasize having all these amazing toys and just having the best time of my life, guys. I also remember this SpongeBob episode where they just they just have a cardboard box and then yeah, that for some reason the sounds, the sound effects are real in their fantasy, guys. But it's just, yeah, life is about imagination, and I think yeah, you will also live a much more positive life if you just use your imagination to to a great effect a lot, and yeah. I think you also should start like thinking really positively about yourself. Just think you're a strong and smart person, as somebody who's gonna make it. Yeah, something like that, guys. At least think positive like that, because even if you don't make it, even if you end up a loser like like everybody else, even if you yeah, become a disappointment. Cause I know that I'll end up failing too. But I know that you were just like me, with someone disappointed in you. You know, have this feeling like, at least I'm gonna try, guys. That's also something like you don't need to be the best in the world, but at least you've got to give your soul into it. Put your soul into things, guys. Because if you that's also why I create this fantasy, and why I think it's so important to live in a little bit of fantasy, is because if you don't have this kind of fantasy that you're gonna be great, you're not gonna put your soul into it, guys. And you have to put your soul into it. That's the most important. It's not important what you do. It's the most important thing is the conviction in what you're doing, guys. So that's also something. Some things. Yeah. Phew. So I hope this motivated you a little bit, guys. I hope you also have this. I hope that you also have a similar childlike fantasy as me, guys, because I think that's sometimes the thing you need to battle the monotony of life, guys. Because you know, even if you're motivated to do things, it can still be a battle to keep doing those things, guys. And also the journey to the journey to see what kind of things you have to do in your life to become a better person. It's also a journey, you know. Keep curious and keep going,